I'm Byron Scott. Thanks for joining us. Well, a day after a Maryland law went into effect, removing the statute of limitations for child sex abuse victims to seek civil damages, comes a class action suit in D.C. involving the Catholic Church. Taylor Thomas is in the control room with the story.
The Archdiocese of Washington, D.C. has been hit with a class action child sex abuse lawsuit. It comes just days after the Archdiocese of Baltimore filed for bankruptcy, Chapter 11, in anticipation of an onslaught of possible lawsuits there. It follows a scathing 400-page detailed report by the Maryland State Attorney General's office of years of unspeakable child abuse by Catholic clergy in Baltimore. The bill's sponsor, Maryland Delegate C.T. Wilson, said it took him almost 10 years to make this bill a reality, and the act is about all victims of child sexual abuse.
This isn't about money, and there's no amount of money that's going to undo the damage that was done to me or other victims. This is about letting the people have their voice, and also making sure that they know that in Maryland we hear them, we believe them, and we want them to be made whole.
The new lawsuit against the Archdiocese of Washington accuses the church of repeatedly and knowingly allowing the sexual abuse of children and putting its institutional interest over everything else. Last month, Archbishop of Washington, Cardinal Wilton Gregory, wrote a letter to his parishioners giving them a heads up about what the church may face in the wake of Maryland's Child Sex Abuse Act. The law, which went into effect on October 1st, removes the statute of limitation on child sex abuse victims seeking justice. Cardinal Gregory wrote in part, "With the passage of the Maryland Child Victims Act, I anticipate that our Archdiocese of Washington will receive claims involving past allegations of abuse by members of its clergy. Of course, I cannot speculate on how many cases may be filed. What I can and must do is express again how profoundly sorry I am for past acts of abuse that occurred within our cherished church." The cardinal concluded with a pledge to continue to help victims and to immediately remove abusers. Now, the class action lawsuit against the Archdiocese of Washington involves 3 people thus far. They're all Maryland residents. They're seeking $75,000 in damages. Now back to you in studio, Byron.
Thank you, Taylor. Well, a judge orders a competency evaluation for a man accused of killing his girlfriend last week. 43-year-old Keith Mabin was in court yesterday for a bond hearing, but after his attorney said she was having trouble communicating with him, the judge ordered an evaluation to determine if Mabin is competent to stand trial. Mabin has been charged with murdering 43-year-old Courtney Blackshear last Thursday in an apartment they shared in Upper Marlboro.
We are saddened, we are heartbroken. We know that these relationships that individuals have can be very complicated, very complex. But this is an individual who shared children, and they shared a house, and they shared a life together. And unfortunately, he took her life.
In this case, Mr. Mabin shot her with a gun that he was not legally supposed to have in his possession due to a prior conviction. He then fled the scene with her vehicle and with that handgun. And then he actually assaulted other members of the community who were unrelated to this family, unrelated to these events, and that's how he was ultimately apprehended.
Mabin will have his bond hearing following his competency evaluation. Well, Vice President Kamala Harris has sworn in the person selected to replace U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein, who died last week at the age of 90. LaFonza Butler took the oath a short while ago and is now the only female black senator in Congress. Butler, who is president of Emily's List, is also the first openly gay person to represent California in the upper chamber. Feinstein was the oldest member of the Senate, as well as the longest-serving female U.S. senator. Well, TSA officers nationwide continue to confiscate firearms at airport checkpoints this year. Officials say more than 1,800 guns were seized at checkpoints during the third quarter of this year. Authorities also say more than 94% of those firearms were loaded and in a carry-on bag. Flyers can travel with a firearm, but it must be unloaded and in a locked, hard-sided case. The case must then be placed in a checked bag. Now remember, firearms should never be taken through TSA checkpoints. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Byron Scott. Coming up, the county kicks off Hispanic Heritage Month with celebrations. Stay right there. More news after the break.
Since the moment you were born, I've made 1,000 wishes. Wishes for your future in a world that's changing fast. Do play and laugh. Do win and lose. Do it all with confidence, kindness, and strength. And always do your best to remember that no matter what you do in this life, what matters to me is that you keep doing.
New motor vehicle testing protocols go into effect tomorrow in Maryland under the new Vehicle Emissions Inspection Program rules, which were adopted in January. Vehicle models 2019 or newer with original ownership are exempt from emissions testing for the first 6 years of the car's life. After the first test at the 6-year mark, testing is required every 2 years. State officials say 99% of vehicles manufactured at 6 years or newer have an average pass rate of 99%. The modernized regs only apply to newly purchased vehicles. Well, the Maryland Department of Agriculture is seeking the help of farmers. Plans are in place for an electronic platform for the Farmers Market Nutrition Program in 2024. The program is open to all Maryland farmers and farmers markets. The federally funded supplemental nutrition program connects low-income seniors, women who are pregnant, breastfeeding, or have children under 5, to approved farmers at farmers markets. Funds are then distributed to recipients to purchase fresh fruits and vegetables. For more information, call 410-841-5776. Well, the County Council commemorated Hispanic Heritage Month this afternoon. The body hosted a celebratory program called Latinos, Prosperity, Power, and Progress in America. The event focused on sharing the history and contributions of Latinos here in Prince George's. Dr. Perla Guerrero from the University of Maryland says it's important that we understand the complexities of the Latinx community.
I'm a professor of history and geography, so I think it's important to understand place, like what makes Prince George's County what it is today, what makes a state where I also lived and grew up, Arkansas, what it is. The experiences of Latinx communities, like the communities all across the board, are defined by where we live, where we work, and the histories that have defined those particular places.
It was President Ronald Reagan who extended Hispanic Heritage Week to a full 30-day period back in 1988. Hispanic Heritage Month runs until October 15th. Nonprofits, listen up. The county will be accepting applications tomorrow for the FY 2024 Community Partnership Grant Program. About $2.5 million is available to eligible nonprofits. Organizations that provide community-based initiatives to help foster the growth and development of Prince George's residents are encouraged to apply. The county will be accepting applications tomorrow through Friday, November 10 at 5 p.m. For more information, apply to princegeorgesmd.gov and enter Community Partnership Grant in the search bar. And a local nonprofit is celebrating its 30th anniversary. The Training Source has helped thousands of county residents find work and get resources like job training to help sustain themselves and their families. The organization was recently nominated for an Inspiration Award offered by Chick-fil-A, which could garner the Training Source up to $350,000 for its operation.
I started the Training Source after witnessing 100,000 people get laid off at IBM in 1993. And while I wasn't one of them, I saw the devastation of people who lost their jobs. And that was the impetus for me starting the Training Source. Over the years, we have worked with people from all income levels, socioeconomic levels, mental areas as well. And so we feel like everybody knows somebody who needs our services, and everybody could benefit from the services that we offer.
And the Training Source is celebrating its 30th anniversary gala tomorrow at Harborside Hotel in Oxon Hill. We'll stay right there. Sports with Simon Buggs right after the break. Stay tuned.
Hey there, sports fans, and coming up on your Tuesday sports page, Lady Terps basketball head coach Brenda Freese, as well as a player from the team, talk about the improvements they want to make as the season gets closer and closer, and also a glimpse as to what some players had to say at the Wizards Media Day. Stay right there.
Mom?
Welcome back. Heads up, FEMA and the FCC will conduct a National Emergency Alert System test tomorrow. The alert will take place at 2:20 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time. The test WEA and EAS alerts will be sent to all televisions, cell phones, and radios. It's a test that's conducted every 3 years to make sure that all citizens can be quickly notified in the event of a national emergency. There is no action required by you.
Okay, everyone, it's time for your Tuesday sports page. We'll start with some college hoops. The Lady Terps basketball team continues to prepare as the start of the season is only a month away. The Lady Terps have a lot of things they need to improve on if they want to make some noise this year, and head coach Brenda Fries talked about the improvements she wants her team to make.
Yeah, our defense, getting that together both in the trans D as well as the half court, and then offensively, I think just learning where everybody is, spacing and being able to handle the basketball is pretty important.
A player on this team that Terps fans should look out for this season is sophomore Bree McDaniel, and McDaniel touched on the parts of her game that she worked on this offseason.
What I focused on the off season was just basically like finishing by the basket, my pull-ups, my threes, mostly that, and mostly my defense. I always got to get better at my defense, but mostly just expanding my game through level score. I got to be more consistent, finishing at the basket and my pull-ups. So that was the main things that I focused on in the offseason.
The Lady Terps will begin their season at home versus Harvard on November 6th. Meanwhile, the Washington Wizards held their media day yesterday. The Wizards have a lot of new faces joining them this year, and one of them, in guard Jordan Poole, expressed the importance of the team building chemistry.
We know what it takes to build a championship culture, and it starts with chemistry. It starts with being able to go and play, for your teammates, not just with your teammates. You got to really know who they are as people. So just being able to spend time over the course of the summer, get together, I think they knew how important it was. As well, just coming to a new team. We want to come and hit the ground running right away. And, me and Kuz have been in a situation like that before, even Tyus, playing with really good teams. It's a lot of stuff that is just more than basketball that you need to do in order to build that foundation. And, that's just something that we thought would be a good idea, to kind of get going in the summer.
Wrapping up your Tuesday sports page, the Washington Metro Basketball Hall of Fame inducted 8 new members over the weekend. Former University of basketball star Crystal Langhorne was among the new inductees. The list also includes former Terp Jim O'Brien, along with Will Jones, who was once Lefty Dreisel's assistant coach in College Park. Former Parkdale High School basketball coach Stan Kernan was also honored, along with several others. And that is your Tuesday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thank you, Simon. Let's get a quick check now on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 58. Wednesday, sunny with a high around 83. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high near 78. And Friday, mostly cloudy with a high near 75 degrees. And now for the community calendar, calling all seniors. The Prince George's Department of Parks and Recreation is hosting a masquerade party to kick off holiday festivities. Wear a festive mask and creative outfit, enjoy music and food with friends. The luncheon is Friday, October 13th at the Rolling Crest Chillum Community Center. The event is for those 60 and over. For tickets and more, visit pgparks.com. And that's our news for tonight. I'm Byron Scott. See you tomorrow night. Good night.